A nervy final few minutes once again, but Arsenal get back to winning ways after a disappointing defeat at the Etihad Stadium to keep hope, their Champions League dreams alive, and to get back to winning ways with a 2-1 win away to rock bottom Huddersfield in the Premier League before our Europa League campaign kicks off. Welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. These are my thoughts and feelings to the game against Huddersfield. It was Huddersfield up against Arsenal, and it was one of those games where it was quite nice to play Huddersfield at this stage because of the fact of coming off the back of a disappointing defeat to Manchester City, obviously another disappointing defeat to West Ham. We had beaten Chelsea recently, but we're still very inconsistent. You know, we can perform great one week and just not be great, you know, the next week, and it's kind of one of those things where we're just inconsistent, and that inconsistency is ruining our chance of getting back into the top four. I mean, how we've let Manchester United overtake us from being, you know, 13, 14 points clear of them is absolutely crazy. You know, they're ahead of us at the minute. They're into the top four, and we are level on points with Chelsea. And, you know, going into this game, these are one of those games where you look at it on paper and you say, you know, this should be a comfortable and very comfortable 3 points. It should be 3 points that you get and 3 points that you can kind of acquire as quickly as possible. You know, it should be a straight, easy, you know, smooth day at the office. But, you know, what can happen, the complete opposite can happen, though, because you are so expected to win, because you're playing against, you know, the worst side in the Premier League, that they can raise their game and kind of catch you off guard. And even though there was a little bit of a late scare, you know, overall we edged the game and we got the job done and we got the 3 points. And, you know, we were 2-0 up at half time. You know, we were cruising. You know, we were in a position where after Iwobi scored in the 16th minute, then Lacazette in the 44th minute, you know, you're sitting there and thinking to yourself, you know, this should be now. It's, you know, easy. You know, we've got, you know, a 2-goal lead to hold on to. Huddersfield, I mean, they had a decent amount of shots. They had 15 shots with only 6 on target. We have 9 shots, 4 on target. So it's a very overall cagey game. And, you know, Huddersfield did have chances. We also had chances, but we did control the game for most of it. You know, looking briefly at the highlights just before I sat the old camera on. Sat the old camera on. I sat down, switched the camera on, and began discussing the game. But also looking at the highlights, you know, we controlled the game mostly. You know, it was a mostly controlled game. We had a comfortable lead at half-time. A late scare with an own goal from Lacazette, which gave Huddersfield a little bit of momentum. But in the end, we hold on and we get the 3 points. We get back to winning ways. We keep our top hope dreams alive. And, you know, all in all, it's 3 points. You know, you can't really argue. You can't really say anything much more than that. It is 3 points that we've got at the end of the day that just will, you know, give this Arsenal side some momentum, give them a little bit of a boost, and, you know, we'll just kind of get back to where we want to be, essentially. What I want to talk about mainly in this video, though, is what has been happening behind the scenes. You know, there has been a lot of interesting discussion with what is going on, you know, behind the scenes. You know, not what's happening on the pitch, but also what's happening off the pitch. You know, and there's been a lot of criticism. And every time Arsenal lose a game, there's a lot of kind of this kind of absolute storm, you know, a surge of negativity and hostility that comes from, you know, essentially just losing a game. And it came from our defeat to Manchester City. I mean, like I said, for about 30 minutes at the Etihad, you know, after a 10-minute spell where we could have easily been 3-0, 4-0 down, we get the equaliser and we control the game, you know, for a good 30 minutes. We matched Manchester City and actually, you know, we scared them slightly. And in the second half, we just come out absolutely terrified and then, you know, just get dominated. You know, we get raped by Manchester City in that second 45 minutes. But, you know, what transpired after, you know, the defeat to Manchester City was, you know, all of this abuse that Unai Emery needs to leave and that he's just like Arsene Wenger, he plays the same way. You know, we've got to give him time, you know, and that's why you will not hear me say Emery out and, you know, kind of, you know, launch a big devastating attack on Unai Emery, because, you know, he's only been there for 6 months. You know, the job that he's got, you know, how Arsene Wenger, you know, Ivan Gedizis, you know, how they left the club. They've left the club in absolute shambles. It is not going to be a one-season saviour. You know, it's going to take time, multiple transfer windows, hundreds upon hundreds of millions of pounds dumped into this side. You know, it is going to take time. And when you're in a transition, you have to be patient. You know, getting into the Champions League, getting into the top four, getting back into the Champions League would be an outstanding achievement for Unai Emery. Whether he does that by getting into the top 4 in the Premier League, which is unlikely, or whether he does it by winning the Europa League, which is more plausible, if he can get that done, that is an amazing first season. And, we're not going to win a trophy. The only trophy that we're going to win is the Europa League, and that is our only route into the Champions League, should we not get it by getting into the top 4, which is going to be, difficult. You've got Liverpool, you've got Man City, you've got Tottenham that are going to be occupying the first 3 spaces. You've got, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal. One of those 3 will get that final top 4 spot. And the likelihood is Manchester United and Chelsea combined have both got a better chance of getting into the top 4 than Arsenal. So really, realistically, our only way is getting into the Champions League by winning the Europa League, or, putting in a good run of form. And, we have got a nice run of fixtures. We've got Spurs at the beginning of March, and then Manchester United, and then we've played all of the big boys. So we have got a nice run of games at the end of the season. But what is really frustrating is that it's going to take time, and yes, there are moments where I want Unai Emery to adapt, but he's trying to set his own, kind of standard into this side. He's not going to be a pushover, he's not going to be a rollover, and this first season, he's trying to work out and determine which players are good enough and which players are not good enough. Who fits the mould and who doesn't fit the mould. Who will want to play in the Unai Emery way, or who won't want to play in the Unai Emery way. It is basic, fundamental, defensive kind of, things that you have to put in motion. Prime example, last weekend against Manchester City. Manchester City attack in the early stages, the ball comes in, and what does Iwobi do? Instead of clearing the ball up and out, he runs with it and gets dispossessed. It's simple, basic defensive traits, and, that will come with time, but it will come with a better side. Our entire back 4, bar Bellerin on a good day, and potentially Socrates, we need a better left back, we need a better centre back, we need a better goalkeeper. You could say we need a whole new back 4, new goalkeeper, new CDM. Our forward line, apart from, I'd say, potentially a winger such as like an Ousmane Dembele, or, a Carrasco, a pacey wide player, because we haven't really got a pacey wide player. We've got, Lacazette and Aubameyang, who are rapid going forward, but then we've got Iwobi, Mkhitaryan. We haven't got, a really quick, almost like an Alexis Sanchez. So, someone as a winger who will run down those wings and is going to be a danger man, like your Hazards, like your Salahs, like your Songs. And that is going to take time. But the board, do they want to compete? Does Stan Kroenke want to compete? The fact that we've only got apparently 44 million to spend this summer, what the fuck are you going to get with 44 million? I wasn't particularly upset due to the fact that we only got Denis Suarez in the transfer window, because who's available in January? What goalkeeper, what centre back, what defenders, and world class defenders who are available in the January transfer window? And if they are available, you've got to pay almost 4 times the price. I don't know, apart from maybe Eric Bailly, but Manchester United weren't going to sell him. The best players in January are not going to go unless they want to leave, unless you pay over the odds. So, there wasn't many players available, hence why we didn't buy anyone. The summer's different. You can. There are players in the summer transfer window that are available and available to bring straight away. The fact that we've only got, less than 50 million to spend is ridiculous. We need to spend at least, and we can, with the 7th richest club in Europe apparently, we should be able to spend 150, 200 million. And, does Stan Kroenke and, the Kroenke family, do they want Arsenal to get back to where they were? Because at the minute they're not even generating, great funds, because we're not in the Champions League. Without being in the Champions League, you don't get the premium amount of money. So, Unai Emery has come to this club, to win the league. He's not here for Champions League. He's here to win the Premier League playing the Emery way. But to get to that point, not only are we needing time for his tactics to be set into motion, but also we need the board to, trust in him and spend money. You look where Liverpool are now. When Jurgen Klopp came in, Liverpool gave Jurgen Klopp the money to get to the point of where they're now challenging for a title. Arsenal need to be given funds to be able to bring in the players that are good enough to win this league. Our squad isn't capable of getting into the Champions League, let alone win the Premier League. So, you know, we need to spend more money. You know, and, you know, Arsene Wenger had ridden his luck. He'd got to a point where it was time. You know, his tactics were out of date. He was happy. You know, Unai Emery, I don't think, would be happy with not bringing in players. Where Arsene Wenger accepted it. There was an acceptance of, yes, you know, we don't want to win the league. We want to get into the top four. He'd say, well, our aim is to win the league, because of course he's got to say that. He's the manager of Arsenal Football Club. But Unai Emery's a different animal to Arsene Wenger. We've got the new manager. Yes, obviously, I would like the Kroenke family to basically just piss off. They're not going to piss off anytime soon. So, you know, at long last, spend some money in the transfer window. Next for Arsenal, we've got no Premier League football now till February 24th. We've got a double header against Bati Borisov. I will rejoin you for a match review then. But I'm going to leave analysing Arsenal there for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and check out my other great content as well. And until next time, this is DJ Bagpuss signing out. Take care, and I shall see you all later. Take care, and I shall see you all very, very, very soon. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.